The legacy of the forest. From ancient times, forests have drawn people with their mystery and enigma. They harbored many secrets known only to the bravest adventurers, and such were my friends and I when we set out for a walk in the mysterious forest, surrounded by legends and mystique. At the beginning of our journey, everything seemed beautiful. Sunlight streamed through the foliage, birds chirped their melodies, and the sense of wild nature filled our nostrils. But as we ventured deeper into the forest, the atmosphere grew increasingly tense. There was something inexplicable in the air that made the hairs on the back of our necks stand on end. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, the forest was shrouded in darkness, and we began to hear strange sounds from the depths of the wooded thickets. They were cries, so frightening that it seemed as though the souls of the deceased were crying out for help from the depths of the dark, woody shadows. We stopped, disturbed by these sounds, but deciding that they were just animals or birds, we continued on. But then we heard a hoarse, distorted cry that tore through the depths of the forest. It was a cry that made our hearts stop with fear, a sound that made our blood run cold. We felt fear enveloping us, and as if the ground was slipping from under our feet. But we couldn't give in to fear. We continued to move forward, despite the anxiety that enveloped us like a dense fog. In the darkness, we saw a shadow, slowly but surely approaching us. Our hearts pounded so hard that it felt like they would tear from our chests. We turned around and saw a tall creature, covered in scars, with paws that seemed mangled and strange. Its eyes gleamed in the darkness, and its face was distorted by something unimaginable. It resembled the face of a dog and a cat at the same time, and its hands were covered in blood, unlike human hands. We stood frozen, losing all hope of salvation. It was the end of our adventure, the end of our lives. We realized that the forest harbored not only secrets but also horror, ready to engulf us entirely. And then we heard its footsteps. And then, when a wave of darkness engulfed us, it seemed that everything was over. We saw nothing, heard nothing, only felt how fear paralyzed our bodies, how hopelessness enveloped our minds. But suddenly from the darkness, a voice rang out, hoarse, quiet, but quite distinct. "Run," the voice whispered, like a curse that swallowed the forest. "Run while there's still time." Our hearts stopped, as if time stood still. We slowly turned toward the direction of the voice, and what we saw horrified us. There, in the darkness, stood the creature, tall, grim, covered in scars and blood, but its eyes gleamed with something unusual, something that made us feel a connection to some ancient and powerful force. "Run," the voice repeated, and this time we could not resist its will. We ran, carving a path through the labyrinth of darkness, leaving behind the mysterious creature and its terrifying forest. We couldn't shake the feeling that we had only touched the surface of the mystery, that great evil had awakened from its slumber, and that it would not let us escape so easily. But we ran, as long as our legs could carry us, as long as our hearts still beat, as long as our breath still remained. And although the shadow of horror still enveloped our world, we knew that we had managed to escape its embrace. And perhaps it was only the starting point, only the first step in the battle against the unknown. But we were ready for this challenge. And now, as the terrifying adventure lay behind us, we realized that we would never forget this night, this darkness, this forest, and the mysterious force that had awakened in its depths. The end, or just the beginning of a new nightmare.